Okay, okay. Serious, Paul. Second vlog attempt. Otherwise, you're going to lose your audience. Um, I'm doing this for posterity. I'm doing this for me. For me. Just for me. I'm going to save this and put it on the iDrive and then look back on it in many years to come when I'm still alive. Yeah, right, Paul. And this is my vlog. This is what people do. We have seen so many people, countless people doing this. Now, I used to do this sort of thing decades ago, and the fact is that you go like this, and you're looking at, you're looking at it, trying to, oh, am I getting it? Am I getting? And then you get home and you think, and I'm going to try and refrain from swearing. Okay, so if I pause, it's because I'm looking for a swear word, which I mustn't use. And then you get home and you think, I didn't see it. No, you're bloody clueless. Whatever. You didn't see it. You were too busy doing this. Sign of the times. I mean, yesterday I even thought if I was at the front of the queue, or not the queue, not the queue, I am the queue, but that's a long backstory. If I was at the front of the, not the front of the queue, if I was, you know, meeting and greeting, I'd have said to Charles, and I will refer to them by their Christian names because I'm a Republican on principle. If I'd have had a chance to speak to any of them, I'd have said, really sorry to hear about your loss, or really sorry for your loss. Look, no phone stuffed in your face. Have a nice supper, whatever, you know. So I'm going to entitle this vlog, and I'm going to chapterize it because it's going to be a long one because it's a long ramble. And this is I can't write. I could write, but if you write something, then you just burn it up and throw it away. I could type something, but that's so this I can put on my channel, and when my heirs and antecedents or whatever read it, see it, after the apocalypse, they might find my vlog, and like in Galaxy Quest, it will be the holy book, the scriptures, the whatever. Who knows? I don't. So let's start with we are all monarchists. Yes, we are all monarchists. We are all monarchists. Certainly in the United Kingdom, we are all monarchists. Like it or love it, we are. Why? Because we pay taxes that go to an alleged, well, it's not alleged. That's another backstory. A democratically government that we allegedly vote for to represent our interests, they take taxes off us. And in exchange for apparently the Crown Estate, they pay some money over to the monarchy to keep them in a way that they're accustomed to. So I am a monarchist because out of my taxes, I pay to a government that I voted for some money that they give to the monarchy. Simples, isn't it? So how can you be an anti-monarchist when you actually line their coffers. I digress. That's a later discussion. Maybe I should just start with vlogging personally, because as I say, I can go through this and chapterize it, which is what I will do. Let me just check on... no, not yet. Okay. Right. This all started for me Thursday week ago, was the 8th. And I mention this because you've already seen the vlog on my channel of me driving out in Orange when news had broken that the Queen was ill, very poorly. And I, for one, did not realise the magnitude of what I was being sort of led into by the mass media. And so I went and saw a dear friend and stayed at hers for that day with another dear friend. And yeah, we were preoccupied by the news. And then the news came out that Queen Elizabeth II, our sovereign, had died. And yeah, that's really upsetting. It's really upsetting. This is why I have to do this. It's cathartic. Some people are queuing. Some people want to witness. Others are in absolute abject denial and say it doesn't matter to them, but it does. And others, I won't go there. I'll talk about them in a minute. So yeah, the Queen had died. What did she mean to me? What did she mean to me? Well, I'd seen her in 1977 Silver Jubilee here in my hometown of Plymouth. And it probably made me a Republican because it was a short walk. My parents dragged me. It was a short walk. It was a short walk. And we sat in a flower bed for about, it seemed like an eternity, you know. I was a kid. I was 12. We sat in a flower bed for, must have been 3 or 4 hours. And then I suppose I was about 20 yards, if that. I don't know. I was short in those days, so it might have seemed longer. And I saw this woman. Everybody screaming. And off she disappeared. That was my Queen. Closest I've ever been to her. And I'm not military. I was never a Boy Scout or Girl Guide or anything else, or Duke of Edinburgh or anything else. Never swore any allegiance. So I think that infernal experience of being dragged. You're going to see the Queen, Paul. I can hear this now with hindsight, what my parents, both of them late, would have said to me is, you're going to see the Queen. Yeah, I saw this woman walk past me and I thought, oh, right, okay. Now, I wasn't indoctrinated by my parents to be a monarchist. There was no paraphernalia around the house. My parents weren't religious either, so there was no Church of England monarchy paraphernalia either. We just went and witnessed. I don't know what my parents took from it. I can't remember. If they were still here now and witnessed this, then I would ask them, of course. And this is the point of my vlog, is because we could all come up with something personal like this, but I'm a gobshite and I can talk about it and put it out there. Not because I'm arrogant or anything, just because I can. You can too if you want, but oh no. All right, fine if you don't want to bother, but it may mean something to you. I'm just a content creator, you know. I'm just a content creator, forgive me. You know, I open my gob sometimes inappropriately. Sometimes I do it and people like what I say. Does it matter to me when yesterday I spent the day under the duvet with my chronic depression? Does it matter to me then? No, it doesn't. What matters to me then is to take my bloody teeth and my toenails and my home and my bank balance. So I'm not doing this for any virtuous or selfish reason apart from the arrogance that I can and I want to do it. All right, so back off. So aside from that, yeah, my father, 22 years service, as we've seen on the TV, all these ex-military types, you know. Oh yeah, she was my boss. Indeed, I come from a military family, so an awful lot of them. I was the odd one out. I got a degree. So most of them were like, yeah, the Queen is my boss, and quite a few of them are still living, actually. The Queen is my boss. Was my boss. She wasn't mine. Because I went and got a degree for whatever that was worth. It just means that I can turn around now and say the Queen was not my boss, okay? So that Thursday, came home. I just had to get drunk, very drunk. And I'm an intense guy. I am very intense, very serious. If something comes across my desk, then I pick on it. Some things, whatever. And I get seriously engrossed to the point of almost a neurosis. Excuse me. Told you this is going to be a long one. It's going to have to go to my YouTube channel. I wonder how many gigabytes this is going to be. Autofocus. I've seen quite a few people do this. Choristers, etc. So this is just my ramble, yeah. What was I saying? I wish I could pause this and rewind it. I could edit it. That would be a pain. Last Thursday I was bereft. Friday I just sobbed all day long. Sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. Saturday I was dumb. Absolutely dumb. So what's going on here then, Paul? What went on was grief. It was grief. On a personal level, grief for the loss of somebody that now it turns out it's the loss of somebody who's been in my life longer than anybody else who is currently alive in my life. Yeah. You won't understand that. Rewind. So that's a big loss. the loss of somebody who perhaps I objected to for most of my life. I'm 57. When I went and saw her, I was 12. So that's quite a few years. 45. Yeah, that's quite a loss, you know. And the fact is that it's grief, it's loss of someone or something. Even if you dislike them, you, you could celebrate, one could celebrate um, the loss of something that one considers as a pariah, but it leaves this hole, a gap. You can't rejoice at seeing a black hole, you know. What's it going to be filled with? And since Saturday when I was dumb, I've followed this intensely on the media, of course. I've tried and contemplated seeing all sides and all aspects because I've got nothing else in my life to speak of. So I followed it. I should say, clarification for this is a once in a 70-year event, i.e. it's the end of 70 years of her reigning as monarch. Um, I could say it's the loss of somebody that I've known for 57 years, my age. I could say I could say an awful lot. I mean, I did quip that William Hill, my bookie, didn't make a book on a new prime minister and head of state within days. In fact, 2 days. That is just mind blowing. These pauses are good because this is where I will chapterize everything. Yeah. So personally, it's been a great loss for me, the passing of our Queen. Despite me being a Republican, as I've explained, despite me having a I can't say personally speaking, a resentment, a distaste, a disdain for that wealth, all the titles, the entitlement, the privilege, the hierarchy, which for us in England underpins the class system. That's another debate. So it's been deeply moving on many different levels for me. But I think most of all on a personal level, having lost my father many years ago when I was 26, and my mother when was that? 8 years ago. So I understand personal grief, and I can empathize. At least I can turn around and be honest that I empathize. You know, I empathize with their loss. I challenge anybody to not be able to do that. Here's a granny who's just died. I know you may not fish through the obituaries and sort of blub when you read, oh, long lost whoever, you know, You were my granny, this, that, and everything else, blah, blah, blah. Yours, son, grandson, great-grandson, da, 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 da. No, the fact is this person has been in our lives for oh so long. Oh so long. And I find it remarkable that anyone cannot be moved by that simple fact. So yes, I've cried. I've cried a lot. And on Monday, when I'm sat downstairs in front of my Dolby Atmos 7.1 with the proceedings from Westminster Cathedral, and I've got the organ tones vibrating through my arse, and the wonderful, wonderful, moving religious choral singers resonating above my head, I am going to weep like a baby. Absolutely. If I'm not bereft, I will be surprised. I cried a lot on Thursday. I cried a lot on Friday. In the week, I've cried on and off. Queen Elizabeth being taken from Bucks Palace to Westminster Hall, I cried. But tonight, seeing the grandchildren do the very, very small vigil. It's more perfunctory, like everything with the royals, the monarchy. It's perfunctory. It's just, show up and piss off. Even so, for them, to see them there, I never knew my grandparents. I knew one grandmother. She didn't like me. She didn't like me. And grandfather, her husband, he was killed in the Second World War. Grandparents on the other side, never knew them at all. That's personal. I think I'll stop now, post this, and I'll carry on. And then at the end of the day, I'll merge it all into one. All right?